Alright, g'day guys, hope you're all doing well. Jimmy here. So today I'm going to be doing my report on Westerfolds Park. Let's go. Alright, so Westerfolds Park is a metropolitan park situated in Templestowe, an eastern suburb of Melbourne, in Victoria and in Australia obviously. It covers over 120 hectares of land. So here, as you can see, is a map, and all this purple line up around here, starting in Templestowe, going to Doncaster to the Heidelberg, that is 120 hectares. Okay, the ecosystem. The ecosystem in Westerfolds Park is a wide open area of grassland that extends 120 hectares starting in the suburb of Templestowe. It is a metropolitan park that is home to a lot of Australian and international habitat and wildlife. This park runs along the beautiful Yarra River and has a trail that follows it all the way. It is a dense environment which basically consists of shrubs, trees and a lot of grassland. One limiting factor of this environment is the different types of habitat and conditions which allow the variation of species to live in the environment. So for example, the amount of habitat that is there is basically just trees. So as you can see, you wouldn't find that much of a variation of species. Like you probably range from birds to a few animals on land, but you wouldn't go to the extent of say in a rainforest where you'd find millions and millions of species. So three abiotic factors are the pH levels in the ponds surrounding, which means that the levels of water will allow different animals to live in different parts of the ponds or even live there at all, the humidity, and the space. Alright, the space in this is quite big, so some animals only like a small space, and whereas a kangaroo for instance will have a big space where it can hop around, get to different places to get food and water. Three biotic factors are certain bacteria that lie around that can affect animals, obviously the predators. So if you're a small animal or an insect or a bug, I don't think you want to be living there because of all the predators that will hunt on you. And the growth rate of a species. So if a species is growing, populating too much, for example rabbits, this will just kill it off all other species and overpopulate and take out all the other species. Alright, 10 organisms that live here, 7 animals, 3 plants. We have the Australian wood duck, the ring-tailed possum, the eastern grey kangaroo, the Australian magpie, the European rabbit, the kookaburra, and the wombat. They're the animals. Now the plants: the eucalyptus tree, the river red gums, and the acacia. And as you can see there, all the scientific names side by side by them. I'm not going to try to pronounce them because I cannot. Alright, these are 4 adaptations for one of the animals living in this range of land that will help it to survive. So as you can see, I've picked the kookaburra, so I'll take you through them. Alright, the beak and the mouth. This adaptation is good because it is long. To get food, so it might be hard because it's a small animal, so the beak allows it a little bit more extension, and yeah, it's just really tough. The eyes. Kookaburra's eyes are perfect. As you see, they're sitting in a tree most of the time, so they can look down on the landscape and see if there's any animals there to eat. And even in the night time, I'm pretty sure when all the predators usually go to sleep, it has good eyesight that can catch anything in the dark. Its wings, obviously it can fly, so it can escape from predators, it can fly up to high places to look down into the landscape. It just really benefits them in all ways. And the claws and feet, and as you can see, their habitat mainly requires a nest in a tree, so it's hard for them to stay on the tree upright, but with these claws or their feet, it allows them to survive up in the trees. The community interactions. Alright, competition. There'll be a lot of competition for habitat in the trees because there's many birds in Westerfolds Park. So all the different types of birds that will come together will all need to find a nesting habitat. And with the limited space of trees around, if this all gets clogged up, one species might be extinct or one species might be forced to fly out. It's just hard for all of them to find a nice habitat where they can share and be fair. Right, parasitism. An easy one here is just the eastern grey kangaroo and the flea, the common flea. The flea bites into the kangaroo, gets its blood, gets its nutrients, whereas the kangaroo is just hopping around with that little annoying pest on him. Mutualism. The mutualism is actually the human being. This park is a very long park and it has lots of trails for running. So as you can see in this picture, there are runners. So obviously the people running will be huffing and puffing, breathing out carbon dioxide, which will then be taken in by the plants, who will then express oxygen, which we then gain again. So the mutualism between the plants and the humans are that plants get the carbon dioxide from the humans, and the humans get the oxygen from the plants, which is in the air. Commensalism. As you can see here, I'm going to be focusing on the magpie. Now, as you can see, its habitat is the tree. It builds a nest on the tree. It lives on the tree. But the tree doesn't get anything at all from the magpie. So the magpie just uses the tree for habitat, to store food, to store its babies and everything. But the magpie just does what he wants. Human activity. So human activity that might be a threat or put the land under pressure is people running. They might, when you're running, of course you're going to destroy some things. You're going to be running around on the track, which will then maybe disrupt animals, or you might run over onto the grass, which might wreck a habitat. Who knows, but it's just a disruption. And even trees being chopped down. Maybe the council doesn't like a tree in that park, or maybe people just have to do it for more space or something. But yeah, people cutting down trees will affect a lot of habitats and a lot of animals. And lastly, litter. A lot of people do the bad thing as a human, with a human error, and they litter everywhere. This obviously is a bad thing, which could float up into a habitat, or an animal could eat it and choke on it and die. Here's my biography. I'll just stay here for a second so you guys can see it, so Mr. Aslan can see that it's proper. And I'd like to say a big thank you for you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.